Betrayal rarely comes from enemies. It strikes from the people you trust most. The friend who suddenly grows distant, the partner who leaves without warning, the colleague who undercuts you when you least expect it. The most painful part? You never saw it coming. But what if the signs were always there? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, believed that betrayal isn't just a random act of cruelty. It follows a pattern, a hidden psychological script woven into human relationships. Once you understand this pattern, you'll never be caught off guard again. Why do people turn against those they once cared for? Betrayal isn't an impulsive act. It's a process, a storm that brews beneath the surface long before it strikes. Jung believed that it stems from the darker, hidden corners of the human psyche, what he called the shadow self. But what does that really mean? When someone betrays you, it's rarely about you. It's about them, their insecurities, suppressed desires, and unresolved conflicts. These inner struggles fuel the actions that lead to disloyalty. Every person carries a shadow, a collection of thoughts and emotions they repress because they don't align with their ideal self-image. When suppressed for too long, these emotions find an outlet, often in ways that harm others. Think about a time when a friend or loved one suddenly became cold or critical. Maybe they started downplaying your achievements, making subtle jabs, or distancing themselves without explanation. More often than not, this shift happens because something about you, your success, confidence, or happiness, stirs something unresolved in them. Envy, insecurity, or self-doubt can transform admiration into resentment. Imagine a close friend who has always been supportive. They cheer you on until you start achieving more than they do. At first, they offer congratulations, but something feels off. Their excitement seems forced. Their words lose sincerity. Over time, they withdraw, offer backhanded compliments, or subtly undermine you. Their shadow self has been triggered. Instead of confronting their own insecurities, they project negativity onto you, justifying their shifting behavior with thoughts like, "They don't deserve it as much as I do," or "they've changed." Before any overt act of betrayal, the mind first rewrites the narrative to protect the ego. Consider a workplace scenario where you and a colleague have always been allies. You exchange ideas, collaborate, and celebrate wins together. But then you get promoted. Suddenly, they stop sharing information, begin gossiping, or even work against you. Why? Because deep down, they feel that they deserve the success more than you did. And rather than acknowledging this, their subconscious fuels their resentment into action. Or take the case of self-improvement. You commit to healthier habits, start a business, or level up in life. Naturally, you expect your closest friends to be happy for you. But instead, one of them makes sarcastic remarks. "Oh, look at you, all disciplined now. Must be nice." At first, it seems like a harmless joke, but soon you notice a pattern. They stop showing up, dismiss your progress, or even discourage you outright. Why? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Instead of drawing inspiration, their shadow self lashes out in bitterness. So how do you recognize and protect yourself? Watch for subtle shifts in behavior, distance, sarcasm, and a lack of genuine support. Trust your intuition. If something feels off, it usually is. Set firm boundaries with those who undermine you. Most importantly, never take it personally. Their betrayal isn't about you, it's about them. Not all betrayals are born from hidden resentment. Some are deliberate, calculated, and manipulative. These are the betrayals that leave you stunned, questioning how you never saw it coming. Jung believed that some individuals wear masks, presenting a charming and supportive facade while concealing their true motives. They act loyal when it benefits them, but the moment they no longer need you, they disappear, or worse, turn against you. Think of someone who always seemed to have your back. They praised you, defended you, and made you feel important. But over time, you started noticing a pattern. Whenever they needed something, they were extra kind. The moment you couldn't provide what they wanted, they withdrew. Maybe they were never truly a friend, but rather someone who played the role of one until it no longer served them. This kind of betrayal can be devastating in romantic relationships. One moment, your partner is deeply affectionate. Then almost overnight, they grow distant. They stop putting in effort, dismiss your concerns, and eventually leave, sometimes without an explanation. Why? Because they were never as emotionally invested as you were. Their presence was conditional, and once their needs were met or circumstances changed, they walked away without a second thought. Some betrayals stem from jealousy. Jung believed that envy arises when someone sees in you what they feel they lack in themselves: success, confidence, intelligence, or even inner peace. A jealous person may not even recognize their own resentment at first, but over time, it festers, turning into subtle hostility and eventually betrayal. Watch for fake praise and backhanded compliments. A person who secretly resents you might say, "Wow, must be nice to have connections." Or, "You're so lucky. Some of us actually have to work hard." These statements sound like compliments on the surface but are loaded with bitterness. They can't bring themselves to celebrate your success, so they diminish it instead. Jealousy also manifests in sudden coldness. Someone who once celebrated your wins might start pulling away, ignoring messages, or acting indifferent to your good news. Why? Because your achievements remind them of their own perceived failures. Rather than dealing with their insecurities, they distance themselves or turn others against you. Betrayal isn't always about envy or resentment. Sometimes it's about power. Some people only feel secure when they have control over others. If they sense that they are losing that control, they may resort to betrayal to reassert dominance. Have you ever had a boss, friend, or partner who was supportive until you started asserting yourself? The moment you became independent, they turned cold, critical, or manipulative. That's because they never saw you as an equal. They saw you as someone to control. A workplace superior might initially support your growth until you start excelling beyond them. Suddenly, they micromanage, take credit for your ideas, or sabotage your progress. They feel threatened by your competence and act to maintain their dominance. Similarly, a controlling friend or partner might initially seem caring, but the moment you start making decisions for yourself, they manipulate you with guilt, drama, or silent treatment. Then there are those who betray not out of emotion, but out of pure self-interest. Some individuals see relationships as transactions, keeping people around only as long as they serve a purpose. A friend who only reaches out when they need something, a coworker who pretends to be an ally but steals your credit, a partner who was never emotionally invested. These betrayals are cold and calculated. They don't happen because of insecurity or inner conflict. They happen because betraying you was simply more beneficial than staying loyal. Betrayal is painful. It shakes your trust, wounds your heart, and makes you question everything. But here's the truth. It's not an end. It's a revelation. Every act of betrayal exposes the true nature of those around you. It's not a reflection of your weakness, but of their character. The pain will pass. What matters is what you do with the lesson. Will you let it make you bitter, or will you let it make you wiser? Trust slowly, observe deeply, and never be afraid to walk away from those who don't value your loyalty. The right people will never betray you. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because someone out there needs to hear this today.